Here we go!
Welcome to the Nintendo Power Zone. We are a video cast / podcast dedicated to bringing you the best Nintendo-related topics. I'm your host, Nicewind, and joining me today is my co-host, Blues. And, guys, we got Shadow dropped a Nintendo Direct today. A Nintendo Direct Mini. Yeah. But that thing was like half an hour long. What's up with that? Yo, seriously though, Shadow dropping Directs, that's what we do now, Nintendo. We don't tell nobody. We don't put out a tweet before. Or it's just like the social media staff taking the day off because of COVID-19. Whatever it is, we got a Nintendo Direct. I'm excited to talk about it. I was at the point where I was like thinking to myself, if we don't get a Direct, that's fine. They just need to start releasing trailers or something. Well, anyway, welcome back to the show, Blues.
Yeah, glad to be back as always.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it feels like we've been pretty inactive, even though we technically on schedule. Which is funny. We might have been inactive for a week, but we do have something extra special planned coming up in the next few days. So, I mean, it's not like we would have been too far behind the schedule. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, yeah, Nintendo Direct Mini. Nintendo dropped a bunch of new trailers for some upcoming games. We've got some DLC for some existing games right now. And let's go ahead and start where they started. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Definitive Edition. I have been anticipating this game for a while now because I love the Xenoblade franchise, at least the core Xeno series. I started playing back in the day Xenogears on the PS1. I played a little bit of Xenosaga on the PS2 era. Not the better games in the bunch. I love Xenoblade 1, but I love Xenoblade 2 even more. I skipped out on X because it just wasn't in the mood for a Xeno game when they dropped it on the Wii U. But yeah, it's going to be cool to get back into this game. The graphics look really good. This almost looks like they just kind of built it from the ground up. It takes a complete crap. You could combine the Wii, the 3DS version and the Wii version, and this is shitting on both of them at the same time.
Agreed, yeah.
This looks great.
I'm fairly newer to the Xenoblade series. My first one was the 3DS version of the first game, and then X, and then 2, and then DLC for 2. So I did not play the previous Xeno series games, but pretty much all of Xenoblade I have loved to death.
Yeah, the Xeno games, they're such fantastic games, but like they're not really for everybody. And they really like touch on a lot of like, I don't know, I almost feel like they're in a way they sort of like bash organized religion. When I play them, I kind of feel like I'm playing something a little bit blasphemous.
2 especially, yeah. 2 for sure.
2, they basically turned the Pope into like the main villain.
Yeah, Like, sorry for spoilers, but it's just the Pope comes out of nowhere too. Like a missionary from the Pope just comes and saves your ass, and you're just taken to his holy land. It's like, okay.
Honestly, like the DLC, the Torna Chronicles, they make you really hate that guy. Just the way that DLC ends. Oh, but yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 1, such a great experience. Shulk, however, I find to be he's not the best protagonist. I actually like Rex better, and I know a lot of people will hate me for saying that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
Shulk over Rex.
He's a whiny like emo crybaby. Rex,
for sure, but
Rex only cries when like people are wailing on him. Like literally every girl hit Rex in the game for him to start crying.
But I just hate Rex on a fundamental level because like Shulk, like yeah, he's a whiny baby, but he's not like a total idiot. Rex is just a moron, and that's what aggravates me the most about Rex. Is just how stupid he is.
True, there are, but before we turn this into a Rex shit show, because I'm not going to stand for that. There are a lot of similarities between Rex and Shulk as far as their abilities are concerned. Now, in Xenoblade 1, Shulk sees the future a lot more prominently than Rex does. It is implied that Rex can also see into the future. We see it a couple times, but it's not a gameplay mechanic the way it is
No.
Shulk. Which is weird because, like, why even imply that they have a similar power set or identical power set if you're not going to expand upon that for Rex? I always thought that was just a weird.
Just to connect the two games and two characters was my assumption.
Yeah, but they do that so well
personally-
at the end of the game.
I didn't. True. But I didn't necessarily like the time mechanic in 1. I hated that very first like spider fight you do it in, where you get the shield Monado and you start learning how to
Manipulate.
use time travel. It sucked. I think it might have just been because the 3DS was not that great control wise for the game.
Yeah, and that's the one. Isn't that like the one game that you needed a new 3DS to have?
Mhm.
Like, because it had the nub and the extra processing power, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's one of like 3. Yeah, I think one of the Warriors games needed it,
and one of the
random
Zelda games, and the the Majora's Mask remake.
It utilized it. Wasn't exclusive though.
I think it ran better, and Smash Brothers ran better.
Like some
Oh,
games are
yeah.
definitely improved, but
So
not all Xenoblade was.
So what's really interesting about this definitive edition are a couple things, but they've remixed some of the music, which I don't know how I feel about that. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 has fantastic music. Now, they say remastered or remixed. I'm hoping that means like orchestrated, like with more instruments and not like, hey, we're gonna remix this in a way that will hurt your feelings. Because if you fuck with You Will Know Our Name, we're gonna have problems.
Yeah, I think they wouldn't go as far as to reorchestrate or remix whatever they're going to do with the soundtrack. If they weren't positive, they could make it better. I'm being fairly optimistic. Yeah, it won't maybe hit the same, but I also think it might hit better. I'm going to be optimistic and say that I have faith that we're going to make these tracks better because they wouldn't do it if they couldn't top the original compositions.
So, aside from the remix compositions, they did announce a new epilogue called Xenoblade Chronicles Future Connected. Now, you theorized that this might be cut content from, the original, when they were originally building the game. I have a different theory. Let's go ahead and start with yours because mine's a little bit more outlandish.
So I'm not too familiar with the cut content from Xenoblade Chronicles 1, but I'm pretty sure I've read somewhere or heard somewhere that it takes place on the shoulder, and that was like cut map in mind, and that was what this was. And so that's all I really heard was that it was just cut content that was never used.
See, so my theory, a little bit more outlandish, but I'm going to use a little bit of like broken logic to make this work.
All right, sure.
So it's called Xenoblade Chronicles Future Connected, right?
Mm-hmm.
The word connected is what I'm going to use in my broken logic. So if you've played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you know by the end of the game that it is actually running simultaneously with Xenoblade Chronicles 1. There's that cool scene where the architect is about to die, and that's because Shulk. And then in that scene, you actually hear Shulk saying,
Shulk, yeah.
"Today we
It's
will
the day we
defeat."
felt like God.
Yes. That line is spoken right before the architect passes on, which makes me think that this connected thing, this epilogue will take place, and Rex and Shulk will have more interactions. We've already seen them have interactions in the DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where in fact Shulk functions as a blade in that specific game.
It's super weird.
Which is cool, but yeah, it is definitely weird. Specifically, since there is already a Monado in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in the form of Malos. But yeah, I'm broken logic. I'm using the word connected to state that I think that Rex and Shulk will have some kind of, story together within this epilogue. That's what I want. Because I like Shulk, but I like Rex more. So I would like to see them interact, maybe cross blades with one another. Also, Rex totally kicked Shulk's ass. Pyra and Mythra would destroy his weak ass little Monado.
I mean, for sure, but that's because it's Pyra and Mithra and Rex versus Shulk in a 1v1 situation, at least. Yeah. And then if potentially Rex's other blades. Like, if you go against the whole party too, easily Rex, because that's still more people. I think Rex just has the manpower advantage. But, all right, so.
Oh, no, wait. He doesn't even need Pyra or Mithra. Give him Naya. Give him Naya, and he still whoops Shulk's ass. Because Naya is the best blade in the game. She is so much better than Pyra or Mithra, which is
you physically
absurd.
can't take damage if you have Nia. Yeah. But it's beyond the point because that's still the manpower thing I'm going with. You gotta give Shulk like the actual Xenoblade Chronicles 2 blade, not the Minato. But then whatever he gets won't be nearly as cool as an Aegis or Nia. So it's not a fair comparison. But of course they'll stomp him. Yeah.
So
I do follow your train of logic. That was my connection as well. When I heard that keyword connection, I was like, yeah, oh my gosh, they're gonna cross paths. But I was kind of dissuaded the more we saw. It kind of just looks like it's like some kind of weird epilogue. We see this weird portal. It looks like Darkon from Smash Brothers, which could be a portal to the world of 2. You never know, or something. But there's something up with that weird portal, as well as we see an outfit change from Shulk, which is really stylish. I love that. I need that in Smash as an alternate.
One more thing that we haven't talked on a lot since we're making these Xenoblade connections. Mm-hmm. There is an Aegis that is still technically missing.
True.
In Xenoblade. And a lot of people theorize that it's gone into the world of Xenoblade Chronicles X. So maybe this gives us like a bridge to that dimension.
Well, X still is unfinished as the story goes, so there's got to be something more to that. But we haven't seen quite as clear of a bridge between 1 and 2. There's a very clear bridge, but then X still you got to use your imagination a bit to figure out what exactly is happening.
It literally almost doesn't fit within the scope of Xenoblade.
Mm-hmm. It kind of makes sense. I believe your headcanon was probably what I prefer, where it's the new universe that Shulk makes ends up being that universe, but then like gazillions of years in the future of that universe or something. I don't know. Oh
yeah, but before we start like breaking everyone's mind, my own included, we did get a release date for this game. It's coming out May 29th of this year, which seems so far away. Just because
2 months, but
a dry year.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's also just with the chaos the world is in specifically. Like March was kind of hell. I'm not looking forward to April with the current state of the world. Specifically, but beyond that, May 29th is looking to be really stacked because the next games they talked about were the TK games that all come out.
Yeah, before we move on from Xenoblade,
sure.
They did announce one more thing within the announcement, and they didn't announce a price, which is scary. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Works Set. This is basically a collector's edition that includes a 250-page art book. Yeah, so this is basically like a legit full-size art book.
Mm-hmm. I think pre-orders are out now. I need to pre-order it. Like right now. I need this art book. I have the one for 2, and it matches pretty well based off the looks of it. So
it's funny. You can still buy the collector's edition, at least at the Targets that I shop at here. Really? They still have them like just fully stocked. Like they have like 5 or 6. I was like, okay.
My places are all out.
I was like, I've been tempted to buy them, but I already have the game, so it's like, just leave it alone. Just don't worry about it.
The steel case for it's really nice too.
Oh, it looks great. But again, it's gonna be a price point thing, man. Like,
yeah, totally.
Because I'm looking at it right now. It's a big book, and obviously,
I think I'd pay $100 for it.
I don't want to pay
for that in the game. Like that's how much the last one was.
Like,
but I wouldn't do much more than that.
The Final Fantasy VII remake is getting you a statue. No, not a statue. A Play Arch Kai figure, a soundtrack, and like some postcards and an art book, and that's like $130, and that's a way better deal. And
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like Nintendo's like special editions don't ever go as in depth as I want them to, and this is one that like I'm intrigued in. But like, man, give me the soundtrack, especially since you're going through the trouble of like remixing and reorchestrating or whatever they said they were going to do to the music. Give me more. Give me more.
Yeah, no, I think there's got to be more coming. Like there has to be with this. And hopefully that happens. But because like a soundtrack needs to happen with this. The last collector's edition had a soundtrack too. I need a soundtrack.
I think that's pretty much it on Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. But moving on, right after Xenoblade, we got into the numerous amount of games that 2K will be publishing on the Nintendo Switch. So we're going to be getting the XCOM 2 collection, which will contain XCOM 2, 4 DLC packs, and the War of the Chosen expansion. I'm not a huge like fan of XCOM, but I do enjoy I did enjoy the first one. Like the gameplay is really phenomenal, and obviously Mario Rabbids took that gameplay style and did something really interesting with it. But like you gotta like those type of like strategy RPGs where like your movement and your positioning is super key. Love that style of games. Even though I think like XCOM may have like perfected it story-wise, I don't think they've ever like really done anything for me.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I love the combat style and gameplay style, but it's otherwise.
Yeah, on top of that, like knowing that there's going to be like that like Mafia style XCOM game coming out for the Switch sometime this year.
City of Sin, Empire of Sin.
Empire of Sin, yeah. Like,
I definitely have to agree because the whole alien war setting of XCOM just isn't appealing to me. Mafia isn't terribly appealing, but it's definitely more appealing than the alien war in XCOM.
See, I grew up on movies like Scarface and Goodfellas and The Godfather. So like those type of mafioso style movies have always been super appealing to me. It's why Grand Theft Auto like Vice City is one of my favorite games, just because of like those like mafia elements in that game. So I'm actually in three especially. Those I'm really intrigued, especially since this one's kind of like that Prohibition era as well.
Yeah.
So it's got that whole like Untouchables feel to it. Super excited. If y'all don't know what the Untouchables is, y'all need to go on YouTube and look up a trailer for that old ass TV show. That was my jam. I'm old. Aside from that, we are getting the Borderlands Legendary Collection, which is going to have the original Borderlands, Borderlands 2, and its prequel.
The pre-sequel, yeah.
Sequel. I'm not a huge fan of Borderlands. I do think that it has a very amazing art direction. Like, not being a fan of the series, I'm well aware of like the reasons why people find them to be appealing games. But is it for me? No. I played the first one. I was like, this isn't really for me, but I can see how people like these. And lastly, BioShock. Basically the entire series, BioShock Remastered, BioShock 2 Remastered, and BioShock Infinite, the complete edition. All three games, one
masterpieces.
Package. I can't say anything bad about the BioShock games. Like, I've only played the second one, and I thought that was thoroughly enjoyable. Terrifying. In the right, if you're in like the right mood, they can be super scary. That feeling of isolation is done really well in those games. Like they are like Metroid games. I
can see it, yeah.
The first party Metroid games, like that's because Metroid has always been about like this sense that you're alone, right? And they're trying to emulate that style. They're trying to do. They got that from the Alien franchise, right? Like,
pretty sure,
we all know that that Metroid is just the giant aliens ripoff, and that sense of isolation is very prominent in those games. BioShock does that really well as well. So it's going to. I might pick this up. because sometimes I play games just with the intent of my girl sitting there watching them with me, because for her it's like watching an interactive movie, and it's always fun to watch her react to like some crazy shit that happens on the screen. Like Resident Evil 7, I played that with her in the dark watching me play that game, and it was a great experience. And so this might be one of those games that I just buy just so that she can see me experience them, just because I think I'll have more fun with that. But if it was just me on my own, I'd probably skip all of these releases. None of these are bad games. They're not what I'm looking for right now, especially since these are old. They're like super, super old at this point. I mean, what we're talking like PS3, Xbox One. Nope, not Xbox One. Xbox 360 era.
Yeah, for BioShock.
I don't know how well some games have aged as far as visually. Borderlands won't have a problem just because they use the cell shading.
Yeah, the art direction is what carries it in this. Because like a lot of like, yeah, it's not as realistic or maybe as cool to have like a cell shaded graphic style, but it ages so much better every single time, and that's the beauty of it, really.
That's why I like when they remastered Wind Waker and versus
Twilight Princess.
Wind Waker looks so much better.
Because they can do so much more with it.
It just that cell shaded art style plus the simplicity of the designs, they just allowed for them to age so much better. And then when they remastered Twilight Princess, it's worse for wear.
Yeah. And even if I were to compare like the original Wind Waker to the original Twilight Princess, I feel like Wind Waker still aged better.
Oh no, most definitely. And it's one of those things where like people look back at it and it's like, the hindsight is 2020 thing has always bothered me. The way people have like talked about Wind Waker in more recent times versus when game
came out
released. And then there was that meme when they redid Link's Awakening, where it's like 2002. I don't like this game. Link is too cute. And then he's, it's the Wind Waker Link. And then they have Link's Awakening remastered Link, and it's like, oh my god, I love this game. Link is too cute. And I was like, that's exactly how that worked. Like, everybody fell in love with little toy Link. Everybody hated Wind Waker Link. I was like, I hate you all. Although I do really like the design of toy Link in Link's Awakening. It looks fantastic.
I remember after Twilight Princess. Oh yeah, the amiibo for it is great. It's the perfect amiibo for like any Link. But I remember after Twilight Princess, everyone was like, "Oh, we need like a more realistic, like looking and more edgy, darker." Zelda's again and again. Like that was what people wanted. And then we got Skyward Sword, and I think Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild's art style have hit a very nice balance where it's not too cartoony and cute, but it will age so much better than Twilight Princess would.
Well, that's the thing. Like, as cool as like, I really like the Skyward Sword's art style, but I don't feel like Breath of the Wild's art style it's near identical. It's not 100% the same, but it's like it's not so different, and that's because Twilight Princess really showed how like going in that hyper realistic, like it's not the Nintendo way. It really is. And you're right.
Imagine Mario looking like that.
Dude, I get scared every time. Every time a new Mario game comes out and Mario's denim starts to look more and more realistic, I get a little terrified.
Yeah.
Now, especially with Smash. Every Smash game, his overalls start looking like more and more like
Brawl overalls. Ooh, the Brawl overalls.
All right,
jeez.
But moving on, we got some DLC for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Why can't I remember the subtitle of that game?
Black Order?
Black Order. I should know that. I'm a huge Marvel fan. In my Captain America hoodie, not remembering stuff. So yeah, it's the Black Order. This is the expansion pass. I like this. I really do. So as a giant comic book nerd, Marvel has done a whole lot to kill the Fantastic Four. And this comes down to movie rights. Movie rights, movie rights. They tried to do the same thing with the X-Men, but you can't kill the X-Men because they are your second most popular franchise after Spider-Man. But with the Fantastic Four, they decided to cut their losses. They canceled all Fantastic Four comic books. They didn't allow the Fantastic Four to be in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And they've done everything. And why? Because they're like, we want the movie rights back from 20th Century Fox. They won't give them back, and they made a really super shitty movie that we all wish we could forget, but we can't because it's a really, really shitty movie.
They're on the third reboot of it, right? Aren't they making the third reboot now?
Yeah, they announced it at Comic-Con last year. Now that Marvel's working on it, I think it could be good.
I hope so, but I've just lost a lot of faith.
I want to get the bad taste out of my mouth from the last movie because it's really bad. And that's with Michael B. Jordan in that movie. And right now, that dude's on fire. Like, everything he touches is pretty much gold. He's a good actor. And plus, his version of Killmonger, dope. But yeah, we're getting the Black Order. Oh, by the way, this has been the reason that the Fantastic Four are going to be allowed in this game and any other future Marvel game is because Disney bought 20th Century Fox outright because they wanted all their playthings back that Fox had. So they basically got, I believe they got the X-Men back, all of it. They've got the Fantastic Four back and some other like lesser known characters that weren't going to get movies, but could be like side characters in like a future Avengers film. I believe they got Ghost Rider back as well. Now, Fox had already let go of Daredevil and Elektra and the Punisher. They had those characters, but they failed to make movies in time. But whatever. This is not a movie podcast. This is a game podcast. So, yeah. So, we're getting this DLC. Basically, it's going to add some new story elements within the game with Doom and the Fantastic Four as playable characters as they play through their own new story campaign. Looks really good. I still haven't picked up Ultimate Alliance 3. It is on my to-do list. Especially since I love those first two games on PS2 so much. Why am I not buying this game? I think I'm kind of just waiting for like a price drop, specifically since they're going to be doing all this DLC. I don't want to pay full price for the game. Hey, Nintendo, can we get a price drop on this? Or who's making this one?
I don't even remember.
Whoever's publishing this game.
No. While I'm glad to see some kind of return to form for the Fantastic Four, that bad taste still kind of lingers. But Doom, seeing Doctor Doom there, that gets me all tingly inside. I want to see what they're doing with that Doctor Doom story.
That Doom character model is on point.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Reed Richards character model with the full-on beard.
Yeah,
perfect. And I love this.
Mr. Fantastic.
The Thing is classic.
It's clobbering time, and they knew what they were doing with that. They had him say the word clobbering.
Oh yeah. Oh man, there are certain things you expect certain characters to say within the Marvel universe.
Yeah, true.
Hulk smash.
Yeah.
My spider sense is tingling. Avengers assemble. It's clobbering time. You expect certain characters to say certain phrases, and the Thing has to say it's clobbering time.
That's true.
Hey, but before we move on, shout out to Michael Chiklis for being an awesome Thing in those first few Fantastic Four movies. Best part of those movies was Michael Chiklis' performance. Aside from that, terrible films. All right, moving on though, we have a game that I'm kind of really anticipating, and I'm gonna butcher the title of this game. Where to go? Shinsekai Into the Depths. This is a exploration game set underwater in a post-apocalyptic world, and it's like a 2D exploration platformer. Looks amazing. I'm really loving the art style. It's interesting. Like, this is the type of like game I probably would have loved to get into. It's got like super floating mechanics too, because obviously it's underwater. So it works. But I'm getting like some Donkey Kong Country like the underwater vibes from the way this game looked visually. Love it. I'm all
And I
in on
believe
that
it
game.
shadow dropped today, right?
Yeah, it
So
did shadow drop today,
yeah.
so it might, there are a lot of games that shadow dropped today, by the way.
Didn't Panzer Dragoon? I know we're not there yet, but didn't that shadow drop too?
If it did,
Which is super weird.
I'm gonna have to start spending some money. We'll find out.
Like, that was not a game I expected to shadow drop, but I was like, whoa, okay. Sega's dropping the big hand.
Panzer Dragoon did drop today. Yeah, this direct was. It almost feels like this direct was supposed to happen sooner than it did with the amount of shadow drops. Speaking of it, just the amount of shadow drop, the damn direct itself was shadow dropped apparently.
And just also a lot of the games are coming. You have 4 games all coming out May 29th in 2 months. 2 months and 3 days. Like, yeah, right now it feels a long time, but it's 2 months away. That's not long at all.
But yeah, back to Shinsekai.
Yeah, sorry.
This is a neat game. Like, as far what you're going to be able to do, you're going to be able to upgrade gear, craft items deeper into the abyss, and then you have to monitor your oxygen levels as you go down. So a lot of little elements.
Resource management.
Yeah, all this stuff is very cool. This seems like a good way to just burn maybe 15 to 30 hours. Looks like that kind of game. I don't expect it to be any longer than that, but I'm digging the art direction. I hope it's a good game because as of right now, something that I'm gonna go check the price on it first. Just because depends. If this is a full price game, I might be this is a $40 game. It's an instant purchase.
Yeah. One thing that I found strange was that they really put a lot of emphasis on highlighting the jukebox mode. Which makes me think that it's got some bangers on it or something's going on because they're confident that you're gonna like the music in that. They're confident of it.
Yeah, so. I thought that was weird too. I was like, that's weird. But it makes
the segue was just kind of jarring for it.
Not just that, but it also makes me think that the game is fairly bare bones. Aside, it's going to be pretty much just the core game and that music maker.
That's a big feature for it. Just having jukebox mode. Yeah, I feel that.
All right, so moving into news I don't care about. Animal Crossing New Horizon will have its first seasonal event, and it's going to be from April 1st through April 12th. It's going to be Bunny Day. You'll be able to find hidden egg or eggs hidden by a bunny visitor, and you'll be able to craft special items with them. I believe this free update. I believe they updated the game to include this already, and then there's going to be
that was the day one update, yeah.
Oh, that was the day one. All right.
Yeah, and then they updated the game today to include the next event with Leaf the Sloth.
And that'll actually go live in April when the bunny event starts. Now, I'm not a huge Animal Crossing fan. I didn't buy this game. They're not for me. They're not for everybody. I'm happy that the people who are enjoying it are thoroughly enjoying it. So that's good. Plus, they sold 1.88 million copies in 2 days. So congratulations, Nintendo, on that. But yeah, any thoughts?
If I can just, so I've been playing Animal Crossing quite thoroughly on Twitch TV / The King Blues. So check me out. I usually do every morning. So far, I've been pretty consistent with doing a morning stream of it and sometimes evening streams of it as well. So far, it's everything I was afraid it was going to be. But worse. but despite that, it's all so I hate the crafting system. I hate that my tools break with a passion. It's so annoying. But I'll be complaining about it on stream, and I'll have the biggest grin on my face. I'm still just having the time of my life. So I have a very love-hate relationship with the game right now, and the Nook Miles drive me insane. But I'm excited to see these events happen. We haven't had them yet. And it looks like they've changed it up quite a bit from the previous Bunny Day event, as well as the fact that it's doled out through updates means that they can potentially make every year's Bunny Day event something different with a different update or something like that, which has a lot of potential, I think. And I'm excited to see what they do with it, if they do something at all with it.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, it's nice to know that some deal what's happening in the world hasn't affected what's going on in like Animal Crossing 2 too much, just because like it's what's been a week now. Like it's nice to know that like the state of the world hasn't completely demolished like what people have been anticipating. So 3 years now, people have been waiting for Animal Crossing since like the Switch launched. So I know a lot
They've
of
been
people
waiting like a decade.
they'd be highly upset. No, come on, man. Like New Leaf got so much support, even well past the point that it was relevant.
Yeah,
they started
the
adding
Amiibo update
Splatoon-
5 years after
Splatoon.
it came out.
Yeah, and they had the Splatoon crossover event. Like they did a lot for Animal Crossing New Leaf. So
Yeah.
I feel like people who bought it, kept it, got their money's worth as
For
far as
sure.
like Nintendo support. Like I think that's the first game that had like an extended support period. Moving on though, we got this weird action puzzle game called Good Job, and I kind of glazed over while watching this, but it seems pretty chaotic. I don't know what to say. It's nice that we're getting some like multiplayer, like local co-op games, but this one just I don't know if it was the art direction or just the fact that I'm not like really aware of the developer, and it's like a perfect storm of like just odd enough for me not to care.
One of the biggest things that struck me with it was that I couldn't find any kind of mention for the developer at all. Usually when they have like a third party, they'll be like, oh, this is 2K, or oh, this is X Indie Studios. This is their thing. Like they like make it a point to say it, or at least have like an icon for their logo. And I couldn't find it anywhere when I saw this. But it doesn't seem like it's Nintendo. I think Nintendo would go for a much more character designs, to be blunt. Like Nintendo's big on having iconic characters. If you're gonna make a character, you have to be able to look at them and say, "Oh, that's Inkling. Oh, that's Mario. Oh, that's Link." When you see a picture of them, you can't just say, "Oh, that's the stick figure from 90,000 games."
Well, it looks like a bootleg version of Mr. Game & Watch.
Yeah. But the game itself looks kind of good. It looks like a fun little romp with chaotic physics and stupid stuff for a job simulator type game. I don't know if I'll pick it up, but it looks like it's got potential. But it's really weird how like they did not mention the developer at all, and that bugged me.
That's true. All right, so moving on because there's just not enough about Good Job to discuss. Catherine Full Body got announced for the Switch. Now, I'm not going to testify to know anything about Catherine other than what I've heard, which is basically it's like date torture porn.
Yeah, with
there's
falling block climbing puzzle.
Yeah, there's Catherine with a K, Catherine with a C, and Marine, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
There's also Catherine with a Q now.
Oh Lord,
they added Quathrin.
These games, I don't know who they're for, except for like extreme otaku.
Yeah,
like
it's not I love you. Me.
I love you, Jaden, but I feel like you play these games.
Oh, he totally does. The big thing that comes from that, like my big takeaway from this though, is that means that Persona 5 can happen on Switch. So Catherine and Persona 5 run on the same engine. People often compare the two as like this is like the tech demo for the Persona 5 engine is Catherine. And so that's like big for me that like it can happen. There's potential. And also it's an Atlas port, which are always great. And when they aren't Catherine, they're always great. But we haven't got enough Atlas ports. They did that whole like big questionnaire recently, like which games do you like come to Switch? And that garnered a lot of attention. And this is the first thing we've seen from that. So it's good to see that petition maybe has affected something in Atlas.
Is that the first Catherine game to be released on the Switch? I clearly remember them for like the Xbox and the PS and the PlayStation, but I don't think I've ever seen them on a Nintendo console. I could be mistaken though.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think to my knowledge, there's only one Catherine game, but they've released it a handful of times. So there was Catherine, then Catherine full body on the next gen systems, and I think they made it was either an update or the most recent Catherine was the one with the Q.
I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, so it's been on the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, for PS Vita, Microsoft Windows, and yeah, this is the first time it's getting a release on a Nintendo console. Nintendo's really like they're basically just letting the ESRB do the job that they used to do. Like we're done trying to release games and censor these games. It's gonna put them out on our console and let the chips fall where they may. Now it seems like Nintendo's the only game company that isn't censoring games. Letting them get released the way that they were, with some weird exceptions. Like I believe Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE got like messed up. So every region got the American region for the remake on Switch, which the American version had all the censorships in it. Which I think the Fire Emblem series also has a bit of censorship. I'm not sure about Three Houses, but I know that there was a big hoopla about Fates. Like
censorship,
the same-sex relationships and like the touchy.
You could pet people, and also just some wardrobe changes too, which is basically what it was here. It's a lot of wardrobe changes, maybe some dialogue changes. Definitely, I think the hot springs and whatever scenes were cut because hot springs equal nudity, and a handful of other things. But it wasn't necessarily, I think, under the control of Nintendo. I think it was Atlas just chose the easier version to localize, which just so happened to be the American version. And Nintendo didn't really say, "Hey, no, give people the uncensored version." I think, to my knowledge, it's just that Atlas chose the easier version to localize.
All right. Okay, so I don't have anything bad or really good to say about Catherine. I don't know the series, so without trying to delay this topic anymore, let's go ahead and move into our next update news. Ring Fit Adventure got a free shadow drop today. Now this one's kind of neat. They added some rhythm game elements to it. I believe they just straight up called it rhythm game mode. They also added some other different features where you can change to a female voice for your in-game character.
Well, no, for Ring. Your in-game character doesn't have a voice, but Ring, who will sort of coach you on, was previously only male, but now can be female.
Didn't they also add a bunch of new language options as well?
Yeah, tons of language options. I'm not sure. So typically also, along with the whole gender thing, Tip, the guy who shows you the proper form of the exercises, is only male. I don't think they mentioned it, but and I don't know if it's happening, but I would have liked to see gender options for Tip as well. But that wasn't touched on, unfortunately. But those are what?
No, go ahead.
That's pretty much it. But in terms of the rhythm mode, that's super hype for me. I love so right now, I'm level 45 in Ring Fit Adventure. I don't mean to literally, flex on everyone, but I am. And I'm having a lot of fun with the game. It's great. I haven't noticed a whole lot of, physical changes to myself in terms of weight or appearance, but I can say that I have developed a lot higher stamina. I've gone from being wiped out after just one level to increasing difficulty by 10 and being able to go for so many other levels now. And it's a very noticeable difference. So I've gone and I have started to do workout DVDs. I brought up my girlfriend's Jillian Michaels DVD, as well as I'm going to be starting dance lessons soon. And so a rhythm game goes nicely with these dance lessons. But it's also is this the only real official Nintendo rhythm game that has
these
banger songs compiled into it?
Let's just hope Nintendo doesn't do any more rhythm-based games.
Nintendo and Rhythm Heaven.
Nintendo and rhythm games don't always seem to go hand.
I like Rhythm Heaven.
Some third-party games. Elite Beat Agents was pretty good though.
Yeah.
I believe who made that? Was that a first-party game? No, it was a second-party game.
I want to say it was level 5 or Atlas, one of the two.
I mean, some of the songs though, we're getting Jump Up Superstar in the rhythm mode. We're getting some songs from Splatoon. We're getting songs from Breath of the Wild, but like, I feel like the Breath of the Wild songs are why.
Yeah, they're not very energetic because it's just piano notes and the Guardian theme. Maybe I also saw the Wii Fit logo in there. That's really a Wii Fit track.
I was literally about to bring that up.
I hope we get
as if like
track.
we needed more like reason to believe that Ring Fit Adventure is a direct sequel to Wii Fit. We're adding the music in the rhythm mode. I loved Wii Fit, man. I don't care what anybody says. Wii Fit was. I got my money's worth out of Wii Fit, especially
I agree.
back then because I was exercising a lot back then, so I actually really enjoy it. Still haven't started my Ring Fit Adventure yet. Like it's sitting there. I'm going to start now. Probably beginning next week. I'll go ahead and jump into that. We've gotten like some like more content, specifically content that looks like it's really fun. Like this rhythm mode looks great.
For sure.
So it is exciting news for anybody who is already playing Ring Fit.
Like me. Hi.
Yeah, I know Mario After Party was happy to find out that there was some kind of like expansion to it. All right, so moving into our next subject, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Fire Pass Volume 2. We have a very weird character announcement because it's not a character announcement. It's like a game announcement.
Yeah.
So they announced that a character from ARMS would be joining Smash. Now, they did say that because of the mechanics of ARMS characters, that they were going to take a little bit longer to develop this before they gave us a reveal. We are going to get the character in June. We're going to get the reveal and the drop of the character in June. So it's not that far off. But thank goodness that we're finally getting an ARMS character because, man, that was like the biggest missed opportunity for me when the game launched. I kept expecting an ARMS character to be announced during the build to the release of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and it didn't happen. Now, I get it. There are a crap ton of characters. Every character came back, and you didn't have maybe all the time and all the resources available to you to add a whole lot of other new characters. But you made it worse, though, when you added them as an assist trophy. That's what really got me like all kinds of like, why would you do this? But now I think you gotta eliminate Springman as the playable character. Because what, Springman's gonna be the assist trophy and the playable character? No, it gotta be Twintelle.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like I want Twintelle just because people would be upset by it. But all right, so hear me out here. So imagine a distance demon, a true distance demon. They had the nerve to call Byleth a distance demon when they knew they were cooking up an ARMS character. No. ARMS characters are distance demons. But Twintelle has witch time. Twintelle is witch time. I don't care whatever you want to call it. She has witch time. Which is stupid broken. And one of the finest asses in Nintendo history.
Oh, dude, no. Twintelle has the best ass in Nintendo. Like, sorry, Bayonetta. I'm sorry. But Twintelle she's got what you don't got. Plus, she's got that sexy little French accent. No, I mean, but I say Twintelle because I feel like that's what the internet really wants.
Yeah.
If I had my way, it's
Ninjara. Yeah.
Ninjara has the best character design in the entire game for me. In a game that's full of amazing character designs.
Yeah.
He also has the best ability. He can teleport.
Okay.
Like Ninjara can teleport, man.
Sure.
He's got the ninja poofs.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I play ARMS. As a big ARMS fan, I've gone on record on this before. I don't think the ARMS characters would have been that great in Smash. I think the Springman Assist Trophy has the entire moveset for Springman if you were to be a character. With specifically like Ninjara and Twintelle, have a bit more with Twintel's Witch Time and Ninjar's teleporting, but there's not still much more to it. I mean, people may argue the rushdown attack, but the rushdown is obviously this final smash. Let's be real here. So that's not part of the base moveset. But either way, I'm still really excited that they're in. I do kind of feel like hopefully I'm proven wrong. They're like amazing to play as.
Dude, they are going to have phenomenal recovery options, both vertically and horizontally.
Hopefully,
like their arms literally extend from their body. Like there is no way that they do not have amazing, especially vertical recovery. Their vertical recovery, like their up B, should be pretty on point. I know a lot of people are going to say broken.
Yeah,
not broken just because you can't do it.
I think that's kind of also interesting segue to my personal choice. My personal choice would be Ribbon Girl. So I'm a big Ribbon Girl advocate. She's my favorite character in the cast. And to make that recovery even more broken is that she has like 6 jumps. So then imagine 6 jumps and that. Crazy.
I could kind of like there are a couple characters that I just didn't think of initially off the bat, but I could see like Masango getting thrown in there just because he kind of operates very similarly to Shulk.
Yeah.
So I could see him they wouldn't have to work around him too hard. Max Brass being the champion at the start of the game
gives him some
gives him some
potential
clout
as a character. Yeah, clout, that's the word.
He definitely has some clout in that area. Lola Pop, just because she's a creepy clown, will not make the cut.
Oh, but she's into inflation porn and candy. Yeah.
Or Dr. Coil could be a pretty good selection.
I could see Dr. Coil or Max Brass.
Have another villain character in the game. There aren't a whole lot of like actual villains playable in Smash. I mean, we got King K. Rool, we got Bowser. We've got a few, but it'd be neat to see like, Dr. Coil.
I'm a Master Mummy main in ARMS. Master Mummy in the Spring archetype, I should say. But Master Mummy is not getting in Smash. He just isn't. He's not gonna work.
Oh man, he's so heavy.
But I really want the thick mummy. I would be so happy.
You would have to think that if they would do Master Mummy,
he could not jump.
His recovery options would be terrible.
But he can still have arms, is the thing.
It'd be like a slightly better version of Little Mac.
Yeah, because he can just grab the stage, but he still has Little Mac.
Oh my god,
air mobility and jumps.
Character reveal trailer better be Sakurai, please. It doesn't matter which character you pick, but make them fight Little Mac for the character reveal.
Oh, that'd be
because
good.
I want to see
the
that
Incineroar trailer with Incineroar Ken could be interesting.
I've wanted to see Little Mac versus an ARMS character since the day they announced ARMS. Like, do Max Brass because he gets to walk in there with the belt, and then like have Little Mac, because you would have Little Mac in the ring already prepping, and then have like Max Brass walk into the arena with his championship belt. It has to be Max Brass now because that's the trailer I want.
All right.
Like I don't care what anybody says anymore. It has to be Max Brass because Little Mac would be warming up in the ring with Doc
Lewis.
Doc Lewis, thank you. Damn, I doing everything in my power not to say Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Doc Lewis in his corner, like Little Mac just throwing like punches, and then out of nowhere, you just hear people saying Brass, 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 Brass. And he just walks. He just springs himself into the ring. Needs to be Max Brass just so I can have that epic trailer. And if it's not Max Brass, then you're gonna have to do a Springman and have him fight Little Mac.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, one thing that I do like about this a lot is this implies ARMS music is getting in the game, which Ribbon Girl's got some pipes. I'm down to listen to her in Smash. As well as we have a lot of stage options. I personally think I would like Ribbon Ring a whole lot. I think because you could have the Ribbon Girl like singing in the background, and that'd be cool. Like I like the idea of Ribbon Ring. As far as fun stages go, there's a lot of like stadiums which I think would be kind of boring, but like Ninja College is colorful and fun. The Cinema Dulce, right, from Toontel, could be fun
that's
as well.
a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to work on a horizontal.
They feel kind of weird. I will give it that. I don't know how they'd work, but
Cinema Do. Honestly, Beach Buster would work. That's
I could see it.
The robot, I can't remember his name.
Bite and Bark.
Bite and Bark. If I could definitely have my pick, Snake Park.
Ooh. Would the snake boards work?
Exactly. Yeah, they would have to as platforms. Like,
okay.
Have them be like just like platforms.
Oh, but
Snake
they're going
Park is
automatically. Okay.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite stages in ARMS. I know a lot of people do not like it because of the mechanic of like you can use them for somewhat as shields.
It gives you a big advantage state if you are in control of a snake board, and like it's such a huge advantage state. It's kind of busted, but it's good otherwise.
River Girl stage would definitely be a very good option, just because it has it rises. The platforms rise.
That's what I'm talking about. Because like there's platform options. It's fun. It's colorful, and Ribbon's there in the background. And I'm really just. Stages and music I'm really excited for, more so than the character, because I feel like the character is just going to be kind of bland, but I'm happy they're there, especially now, so I've recently gotten back into ARMS, and I've realized ARMS is slowly dying. It's not as dead as I thought it would be. You can find like lots of people playing party matches and things online. There's a good amount of Wi-Fi tournaments still, but very few local tournaments, and it's very hard to find ranked matches, though. It's incredibly hard to find ranked matches, unfortunately.
True.
You know but I think one thing. What? Sorry.
Sky Arena, because it's already on a rooftop.
Yeah.
That kind of works perfectly for what Smash is doing. You could actually just kill people by throwing them outside of that, like off the rooftop.
Yeah.
It's pretty iconic. Like by the time you get
it's the final boss stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you finally get there, you feel accomplished, especially like when you're playing that game like level like from level 5 on, ARMS becomes like a completely different game.
Yeah. Because that's where all the lore comes in.
Yeah. The first 4 levels are they baby you. You go to level 5, and I was like, this is the biggest increase in difficulty I've ever seen in a fighting game as far as the CPUs are concerned.
Getting to fight Springtron is a trip because you have to get like a perfect game. You cannot lose a single game.
Not even the bonus games.
Yeah. Like you can't. Like it's wild how you have to fight Springtron. It's super hard. But it's great.
Fighting him is super broken, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like he blocks everything, and then he deads your arms.
It's stupid broken. Yeah.
I remember the first time I beat him, dude. I almost broke my TV.
But so back to my point, ARMS is dying, and I came up with this little plan. Like, all right, so all Nintendo has to do to save ARMS is just so when you see the commercials for Nintendo Switch, it's like they're showing Mario Kart, they're showing Smash, they're showing Zelda, Mario, and maybe some Splatoon. Throw a little bit of ARMS in there. Just put some ARMS footage in those commercials. That goes a long way. Putting it back in like the public's eye, I think would help a lot. Hoping this will never happen, but if they put an ARMS character as the DLC character in Smash, and then it happened. I was like, no, they actually did it. Oh my gosh. And then beyond that, they went further with this, and they're offering trial periods for ARMS again. Starting today, I believe. And so that goes even further. So we have the Smash hype, we have the trial, we just need some more ARMS commercials, and ARMS can be revived. It can happen.
I'm starting to think that maybe all this like our attention that ARMS is getting potentially means that we're going to see a sequel to ARMS.
Yeah, like, that's what I was thinking. They're doing a lot with it all of a sudden.
It wouldn't take too much, and it's been long enough now that if they wanted to do a sequel, not maybe announce it around the time of when E3 should have been.
Yeah. It's also worth talking about that the ARMS comic by Ian Flynn, which has not come out yet.
Yeah.
We just got an update about it, though. It's happening still. Don't worry, guys.
Which makes more fuel to the fire that ARMS is getting some type of sequel in the hopefully near future. Look, man,
And
Arms is low key one of the best launch year games on the
Mhm.
Switch. Really was.
Easily.
I honestly think the problem with Arms was that it really only had 30 days to capitalize on the attention that it was going to get. Because that first year for the Switch, what came out before Arms? Pokken Tournament. Then Arms. What came out the month after Arms? Splatoon 2.
Mhm.
One of the best-selling games on the Nintendo Switch. Arms did pretty well for a brand new IP and with a brand new fighting game IP. Arms did phenomenally well in my opinion, and it's really a well-done fighting game.
Arms was my favorite game on the Switch, period, and had my most playtime until Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee came out. Like those games, I'm a Pokemon fan, of course they would. But Arms came out of nowhere, just stole all my playtime, and I loved it. I just couldn't love Arms enough. And then Pokemon happened, and I dropped it like hot garbage.
When Arms came out, we had a little tournament. All like my friend group, we had a cookout. We all sat there. We had a little prize. Second place. Lost out to Mario after party in like a very close, like down to like the final match. But because we had played each other so many times in that game, at that point, depending on the stage, it was like we would trade W's and L's with each other.
So we going back to the Arms 2 train, we know from our interview with Ian Flynn, great interview, you all should check it out. There is more Arms lore, which the Arms lore is pretty wild. I love the Arms lore. It makes me really want to explore the world, which is why I'm so excited for the comic. But we know there's more lore, which
of lore with just
is
Springman. Like the lore that we got from the comic book just for Springman, where he is actually not like the first Springman. He is part of the legacy of Springmans. So, and he basically said he got carte blanche with what he could do. Like there were certain, he's like, you can do. He basically said, Nintendo said you can do almost whatever you want. And
it gave him confidential secret files of the official Arms lore too.
Stuff we haven't seen in or out.
Yeah, we need answers for a lot of things still. Like, what's up with Twintel? I need so many answers for Twintel.
Like, dead serious. Arms is one of those games that just appeals to me on such a base level. When I'm thinking about iconic character design, specifically in fighting games, Street Fighter is so iconic. I look at the Arms characters and I'm like, these characters can stand toe to toe with some of the best Street Fighter designs. In some cases, they surpass Street Fighter character design. They just like Twintel, such a great character design. She totally fits in like any fighting game roster. Springman is like one of the weaker designs in my opinion. Yeah. Like I know
he's like the plain vanilla character.
Yeah. Like, but yeah, and I know Spring Girl is supposed to be kind of the counterpart, but
Ribbon Girl.
She got a better.
Yeah, she's great.
Ribbon Girl, yeah, I said Spring Girl. Yeah, Ribbon Girl is supposed to be like the female counterpart, but she got way more like design in her than Springman did. It's just, I don't know. I'm hype on Arms, but I never stopped being hype on Arms. So
yeah,
I really hope.
I'm disappointed people hate on Arms for this. Like, Arms is a good game. You don't know it, and stop being salty about it being in Smash because it deserves to be in Smash, and I need this to happen. I'm so glad it happens. So stay mad. I don't care, but don't fucking judge Arms until you know how great it is. There's been people already so disappointed with it, and I'm pissed. This is so good.
The only thing that was bad about Arms was that initial reveal trailer where the little girl walks down the alley and there's just some big dude down there.
That's like weird. It was so what moment, but it was so hyped too.
Man, I made a terrible joke that little girl just walked down Rape Alley. When I saw that, I was like, this is a bad trailer.
It was definitely weird and concerning, yeah.
Before we move on from Arms, I think we both may have forgotten something extremely important when discussing an Arms character in Smash. We're going to get an Arms amiibo.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, yeah.
Amiibo. Holy
Mhm.
crap. Yes, we're going to get an ARMS amiibo character. And I have, first off, since ARM came out, I have been saying, why didn't they
Mhm.
do amiibo for this game? I would
Yeah.
love an amiibo for this game.
I wanted a
We're
Biff
at least
amiibo
getting
so
one.
bad.
We're at least getting one. Now it's even
Mhm.
more important that this be Ninjara for me.
Well,
Wait, do they have customizable hands?
what if that would be so cool? But all right, so hear me out on this one though. So you know how Bowser Jr. has multiple alternates that go between like the different Koopalings. We could potentially get that with arms. I think the biggest issue is like the heavyweights obviously operate under very different physics. But if you check out all the heavyweights, and there's eight alternates as well. So there's 12 characters in arms, I want to say. So you take out the 3 heavyweights, and already
16. I
there's
think
16.
final number was 16, I believe.
Oh, I thought it was only 12.
It started
You know,
with
it might be
12.
16. I think it started with 10 characters and got 6 later. I think you're right. But getting rid of the heavyweights out of that equation, they all kind of operate on the same physics then. And then you can have Helix go away and, I don't know, some other character probably. Bite and Bark maybe. But then if you just give them all the same physics, like you don't do anything special for them, like Twin Tail doesn't get her witch time and Ninjara doesn't get his little poofs as a moveset option, you could have most of the roster as alternates, right?
And Jar without his poofs.
As far as, I mean, you still have his animations, but yeah. But then that also might imply multiple arms amiibo.
Maybe, but yeah, I could see them maybe not having alternate like skins like that, but I could definitely see them doing an Echo Fighter for an arms character.
I could also see them doing like if we do get Springman, we get Springman and Ribbon Girl as a male-female variant, like they do with Byleth and Wii Fit, etc.
Or
Corrin,
yeah.
There's a lot.
And any number of the Fire Emblem characters that have a male-female counterpart.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we've talked enough about arms, way longer than I intended to.
Definitely.
So,
yeah, sorry.
I definitely want to talk about another game that they showed off during this direct that got me entirely hyped out of my mind because visually I was super impressed.
I know the exact game you're talking about.
Square Enix blew my mind with Bravely Default 2. Like, okay, first off, this is the same studio that did Octopath Traveler, and Octopath Traveler was a visual just smorgasbord of amazingness. They did such a good job on that 2D, 3D art style. It blew my mind.
I need to see more of the art style.
I do. I hope Square does more games in that vein. Now, it looks like Bravely Default 2 takes a little bit of that, but instead of it being like 16-bit style, a little bit more hand-drawn. But there's a part of the trailer where they're walking through the snow that it looks like very good quality stop motion animation. The way that snow looks when the characters are running through just blew me away. It truly just blew me away. Now, Bravely Default has one of the best it's one of the best battle systems I have ever seen in a turn-based RPG. Doesn't look like too much is getting changed from what I could see, which they shouldn't have to change too much of it because it's just a very good battle system.
Yeah, for sure. They hit money with that.
Oh yeah, it's just so good,
and it's so simple too.
It is,
but good risk and reward system.
Exactly. Yeah, it's one of those things where like it looks simple from the outside, but when those battles start to amp up, like that management of like your Bravely system of the Brave system, it becomes a lot more critical.
Like when a battle system engages my brain, like it gets like in Pokemon, I just hit super effective button. I might predict my opponent in like a versus match. There's not like a whole lot that really like I think about risk and reward as much. I think about optimal plays, and that's like it. But I'm thinking like specifically like when I get engaged in it, like Xenoblade, I get engaged in the combat, like because the combat like you sort of take a step back and play the role of like a tactical person. Like I'm going to use this art now in combo into this, and it gets the brain running. This is like that, but all the love that you get when you're like managing units in Fire Emblem too, and it crammed into this nice risk and reward system. So that's way I can really describe it.
I keep wanting to fall back to like the ATB from the Final Fantasy series, like how innovative that was when they first did it. I think that was back in Final Fantasy IV, like Japanese Final Fantasy IV. The active time battles were innovative for a while, but they kind of ran it into the ground by the time we got to like Final Fantasy VIII. And then Final Fantasy X really did a lot with the battle system to revitalize the what they were doing. Not necessarily like real-time battles with like your ATB, but you have like your limit system instead that functions. In my opinion, it was superior to the active time battles. And the Bravely system reminds me a little bit of the limit system for Final Fantasy X, but on a much more like much more critical level. Like you get so much more out of the Brave system.
Like change subjects, but one of my favorite active time systems is actually Child of Light from Ubisoft, which is gorgeous. Like honestly, I feel like visually, Bravely Default and Child of Light are up there in terms of like that storybook, pop-up book, watercolor visual. They're so great. Like I love, like in my head, I have them both side by side. I love this contrast between the two. Sorry.
Another thing I love about Bravely Default, and the same thing with Octopath Travelers, like they're kind of like these love letters to like 90s JRPGs as far as like, the stories that they're kind of telling and the visual presentation. But Bravely Default, a little bit different in the sense that like it kind of like takes like those old, like those like super deformed 2D sprites, but then brings them into like an actual 3D space. So you kind of like get these like weirdly shaped characters, but you also get like this nostalgic feeling for them as well. Like there's something like, even though like they're fully realized 3D characters, you look at them and it feels somewhat retro because they're like trying to they're trying to like get those nostalgia veins pumping. Like visually they've done that. And with Octopath Traveler, they did it a lot more in your face because they were trying like real hard to give you that like 16-bit feeling, but they're also trying to give you this like, we want you to feel like you're playing an old game, but we also want to give you like something like mind-blowing as far as the visuals are concerned. It was almost like when like the first couple Final Fantasy games came out for the Super Nintendo. Like the way I felt about those, like as a kid, when I saw how they looked on the Super NES, graphically, it's like, oh my god, how are we going to get better than this? That's what I thought as a kid. Like, it's never going to look better than this. And as time progressed and Final Fantasy games got more and more like photorealistic looking, they actually started to lose their charm visually, which is, I think, one of the biggest problems with Final Fantasy games to me now is like they've gone so far in the one direction that I look at them and it's like, yeah, they look amazing. I'm not faulting the way they look. But it also doesn't like strike any like great chord. Like I'm not invested in like the character designs. They have too many damn zippers.
Well, I think it's like you lose a lot of that iconicism. So you look at Noctis. Who is he? Show a picture of Noctis to some random guy. He won't know him. But
Noctis he's basically just a palette swap of Riku.
I mean, yeah, but then like you look at a lot of the more realistic Final Fantasy characters. I'd say stopping with maybe 10, past 10, starts like, well, who is that? But then you look at Cloud, look at like Sora. I think that one of the nicest things about the jump from like Kingdom Hearts 2 to 3, because it's like the hardware advances we've had between that, we could have gotten photorealistic Sora, but we didn't, and he's still iconic.
I think the difference with Kingdom Hearts, is Sora has to work within those Disney worlds.
True.
He cannot. Yeah. Those characters cannot become too photorealistic because they have to work within the animated worlds of those Disney movies. But they have
Pirates of
with
the Caribbean.
and Tron. They have fudge with
Yeah.
2 like live action movie franchises.
Mhm.
And as much as I love the Space Paranoids area of Kingdom Hearts 2, visually it is the most jarring part of the game aside
Yeah.
from the Pirates of the Caribbean segment.
Yeah.
Those 2 segments feel very out of place in
They
those
really
games for me.
do, yeah.
Because visually they don't work. Sora doesn't look right standing
Mhm.
next to
No.
Johnny Depp. He doesn't look right standing next to Garrett Hedlund. That's why The World Ends With You works so much better when they transition that into Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance.
Dream drop distance. Yeah. For sure. But I think my point still kind of stands of the iconicism of these kinds of designs versus the photorealistic ones. But
Yeah.
no, you're totally right. He does
Go back
kind of
to that
require it.
conversation we were having about The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, how it aged better than
Mhm.
Twilight Princess. I feel like we're going to look at Octopath Traveler 10 years from now, and we're still going to think that game looks phenomenal. And we're going to look at Bravely Default, and that game's going to age well too. Like Bravely
Mhm.
Default on the 3DS is not a bad looking game. It's not
No.
like it doesn't look as good as this,
No.
Bravely Default 2, but it's not a bad looking game. I feel like
Like-
Bravely Second was a little bit of a letdown visually.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to talk about was I think that I'm not entirely sure about this, but I feel like a lot of the inspiration for the design of Bravely Default has to do with the 3DS's character or the graphic limitations, which I know can probably do more than what they did, but I feel like having those limitations also made it sort of look the way it does. And then they also wanted to emulate those early RPGs and give it that sort of storybook look as well. And I think all that sort of meshed together into something that just really works. And
Yeah.
I feel like the biggest issue I had with Bravely Second's visuals is the storybook just didn't feel quite right with it somehow.
It lost its uniqueness, and I feel the same way about Splatoon. From the transition from Splatoon 1 to Splatoon 2. Visually, when you first saw Bravely Default, it felt unique on
True.
the 3DS. And when they came out with a sequel, not too far released from what was it, like a 3-year time between the first and the second? It wasn't
At
that
least
long.
in the US. I don't know about Japan.
It wasn't. There wasn't much of a staggering between 1 and second. The visual appeal didn't seem to. There just wasn't enough of a difference between the two visually to make it feel unique in its own right. Now, it's been a while since Bravely Default and Bravely Second. It's been like 5 or 6 years since Bravely Second. So coming into Bravely Default 2, looking at it again and the upgrades that they can do visually with the upgraded hardware, that's where
phenomenal.
That's what's really helping. Plus, the experience of Octopath Traveler has clearly made its way into this game. Visually, there's a lot more in common with Octopath Traveler in the world building aspect of it than there is with Bravely Default and Bravely Second. Like they clearly learned from that experience. And what I love is that they shadow dropped the demo again. And again, like they did with Bravely Default, they're gonna have a survey. I implore you, play the Bravely Default 2 demo and then take the survey, because our input made made Octopath Traveler a better game. And I would like to see that. I like what this development team is doing for Square right now.
They're putting out a lot of great demos, like long demos, and lots of surveys. That's phenomenal. I love that.
Well, not just that, but like honestly, like they're becoming the better developers of RPG than just proper Square.
I can see that. Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the development studio within Square that makes these games.
RPG Factory?
I think you're right. Yes, RPG Factory. It is them. Like, they are making better RPGs than traditional Square. I think as much as I love Tetsuya Nomura and, the Kingdom Hearts franchise and what he was able to do with Final Fantasy 7 through 10, it's becoming dated. His style of storytelling and his visual art style is starting to become something that I am no longer becoming a fan of. Like, I don't look at his designs anymore and see anything that's iconic, as you were saying earlier. And it's all starting to just blend together. And that's what I really like about what RPG Factory is doing. They're not only taking like good story elements, but they're taking great visuals, like game-changing visuals.
Yeah, they're
in
always
RPG.
unique. So, with the exception of, I guess, like you said, Bravely Second, they've all been groundbreaking visually, and I feel like the only reason Bravely Second wasn't that big of a step up was because it's the same engine and it's the same hardware. So it's like, of course, it's going to look the same. Was like, I don't think that's ever a bad thing, but it definitely did lose a lot of its charm. You're right.
Yeah. What I like about, and I have to say this, what RPG Factory is doing, they're taking classic gameplay elements from classic Japanese RPGs, and they're adding new elements to them. They're taking classic visuals, and they're putting their own spin on those as well. So you're getting something that feels nostalgic, but also feels brand new, both from a visual and gameplay perspective, which I don't think they're getting enough credit for. And they're getting credit for it, but I don't feel like people are like giving them the same kind of attention that they should be getting for doing the things that they're doing, because it's honestly, in my opinion, groundbreaking. And I love what they've done with the 3 games they've made. Now, Bravely Second still being a weak game by comparison, and that's just Bravely Second is only weak because Bravely Default is just so good.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah, I don't have enough good things to say about this. I was just super impressed with what I saw in the trailer. Again, they didn't take away anything from they haven't done anything from what I've seen in this trailer to diminish what they did in the first 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
But they've done so much on the visual side to make this game just look phenomenal. Oh my god. And I'm watching the trailer again as we speak. The Brave system, the Brave attacks just look so amazing.
They went overboard with the animations for some of them, yeah.
As long as they don't last like 5 minutes like a summon does in Final Fantasy, I'm all right. All right, but moving on from Bravely 2. I want to keep saying Bravely Second.
Yeah, it just makes, or Bravely Third.
It's just like they've done
like, that connection blows me every time.
They've done a disservice to the numbering system.
Yeah.
Yeah, moving on, we got Clubhouse Games 51 World Classics. I'm not interested in this game at all. It's basically 51 games. This looks like something I would get just like for the party aspect of it, but
yeah, exactly.
Aside from that, I'm probably gonna skip this one over.
If it's on sale, I'll totally pick it up.
Oh yeah, if I see it in like the bargain bin, which by the way, this is definitely ending up in the bargain bin sooner.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I'm gonna walk into Walmart. It's gonna be in that big circle tub in the middle of the electronics section.
Mm-hmm.
It has pool in it. I'll give them that.
There's Othello, I think.
Go. Oh wait, yeah, they have a bunch of crap in there. I'm not interested. I'm just super not interested. And even the trailer's boring because all they did was like list all
games.
I was like, oh my god, like you cannot be doing this right now.
It's a game. Someone will buy it. I'll buy it.
This is like a greatest hits PC. This is like the greatest hits of games that are pre-installed in your PC.
Yeah, they have Solitaire. I'm pretty sure.
And Mahjong.
Where's Pocket Card Jockey? When's that coming to Switch? Huh, Game Freak? Give us Pocket Card Jockey.
I think Game Freak is still reeling over like Little Town Hero.
Yeah.
All right. What is the next game on our list? Oh, Ninjala.
Oh yeah.
So, Ninjala. What can we say about Ninjala?
It's been a while in the making.
Yeah, a long time. The first time I saw this was launch year for the Switch.
Launch year E3. Mm-hmm.
It's Splatoon with it's Splatoon with ninjas and free to play 4-on-4. It's Splatoon.
Play. They said it was up to 8 players online, but I don't think they ever mentioned teams. I thought it was always teams, and they kind of like sort of dissuade me this time. They're like, "Oh, it's 8 players, and then one person becomes the best ninja at the end."
Right, so here's the official press list because I don't want to do a disservice to this game by just keeping on calling it like Splatoon Light. So In this free-to-play game, up to 8 players must battle it out to earn points and claim victory. As ninjas, players can sprint across stages, disguise themselves, and wield an arsenal of skills like heavy-hitting hammers, fast, flashy katanas, and tricked-out yo-yos. Cement supremacy in free-for-all battles or work together in 4-on-4 team matchups. Ninjala sneaks up to Nintendo Switch this May. By the way, the disguise mechanic, it's just turning into a squid. It's just hiding.
Well, I see it as more of a bit of a prop hunt kind of thing, like Gmod prop hunt or the whole Assassin's Creed multiplayer, which is really good.
I keep looking at all I see is even from a visual standpoint, they are doing everything in their power to emulate like that, like bright, colorful, like aesthetic of Splatoon. Even the clothing. Even the clothing that the characters are wearing is very reminiscent of something you would actually see in Splatoon. Like this is free to play Splatoon.
Yeah, it seems much more melee focused than Splatoon does. I like the whole bubblegum stuff and the wall running. Sorry, what?
It's like attacking with a roller at all times.
Yeah, I'm a yo-yo main personally. I'll say that right now.
And the running on the walls is the same mechanic as like
inking on the walls.
Yeah. They've done a lot to copy what makes Splatoon good. Now, I have a hard time wanting to. I don't know what to say about this game. That's positive because I look at it and I see like a fusion of the visuals between ARMS and Splatoon.
For sure, yeah. But I still think it's gonna look pretty good. I'll play it. I probably will like it. I'd imagine.
I will give it a shot. I'm definitely not gonna like crap on it any harder than I am right now because I will play it. It is free to play, which gives me actual incentive to dive into it. Now I'm pretty sure this definitely goes the Fortnite route with in-game purchases as far as you can put this on your character. As long as it doesn't break the actual gameplay itself, like this isn't like pay to win, I'm okay with
Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah. And on that note, speaking of Star Wars,
I
watched Jedi Academy. That's a game that's happening. I don't know how to feel about this. On one hand, we're finally getting a Star Wars game on the Switch. On the other hand, 16-player like melee game.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It comes with pod racing.
Was it a joint launch? I thought they would just come out. If they're coming out together, dude. I remember pod racing being like one of like those like odd N64 titles that nobody actually liked, but for some reason people have like fond memories of it. It's like it's a Wind Waker situation. You didn't like the game when it was first released, and you have good things to say about it. I don't know. I don't know what this is a weird game. I mean, I'm happy that this is a Star Wars game on the Switch because for a while it just seemed like we weren't getting squat on the Star Wars front, especially with like the Mandalorian being like such a big thing right now, capitalizing on Star Wars. It should be something that every video game company would, every console manufacturer should want to be on the Star Wars train right now.
Yeah, I feel like in general we've gotten a few less Star Wars games than we really should have too. Like,
that's because EA sucks and keeps canceling Star Wars games. Yeah,
I know, and the fact that they're like the sole rights holders to the games is what really kills me specifically too. Like, one, they can do many more games than they should, but they cancel them all, and the few mostly have been bad. But then it's like, well, at least give it to more people. Don't make them the sole. I'm just salty about it. I don't know. I don't like it.
Super not happy with it. Yeah, but the Jedi game kind of, I don't know what to. It's weird. It's kind of like a Fortnite game, but not like a team-based Fortnite with the ability to like wail on each other with lightsabers. I don't know. Visually, it's not doing anything impressive at all.
PlayStation 2 early, PlayStation 2 visuals probably.
Late PS1.
Yeah,
almost. These are bad. Very. Everybody who dissed Mario Odyssey for its like realistic people, for the way they made people look. I don't know.
Like, visuals aren't everything.
But that means the gameplay is going to have to be extraordinarily good.
Which, so far, the thing is, I don't know enough about it to make that claim though. Is the big
Yeah,
thing.
it was a weird showcasing. Like
Yeah.
I felt like when they put it in the direct, I was like, this feels very out of place, and like you're not willing to divulge any more information than what we see here. It's a battle royale game. That's all I see right now. I see a battle royale style game with Jedis, and Fortnite did that really well because the lightsabers in Fortnite were legit. And then Star Wars Racer. I swear I remember that game being called Star Wars Pod Racer, but
Isn't it called Pod Racer?
it's just called Racer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Episode 1 though, right? So there's more Pod Racer games.
Yeah, it's called Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
Okay.
Weird. All right, well, onto a set of games that I don't have too much to say on. We can talk about Panzer Dragoon. I know Jaden is absolutely freaking the F out that this game got shadow dropped today. Yeah.
Mhm.
Panzer Dragoon, one of those classic Sega franchises that doesn't get enough love. Game looks good. It doesn't look as good as it probably should in
Today's
era.
It still looks great in my
But it
opinion.
looks good. Like it looks fun. It's a remake of the original Panzer Dragoon, so that's nice. I mean, that's pretty much also kind of like the highlight of that franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the franchise really didn't get much better than that first game. I believe this is a Dreamcast era.
I'm pretty
Nope.
sure, yeah.
No, it's a Saturn era game.
Oh.
I said Dreamcast, but I meant Saturn. This is a Saturn era game, and this is one of the few standouts on the Saturn because we all know that the Saturn had an abysmal lifespan.
Yeah.
It was part of what killed Sega.
Oh, for sure. But I really hope Sega does more of this stuff, like giving just good classic franchises back. Like revive Monkey Ball the way it should be. Give us more Sonic Mania specifically. Give us maybe some more good Panzer Dragoon. I'd be down for some Jet Set Radio,
Oh, Jet Set Radio would be dope.
Yeah. Like they have so much good stuff in their catalog that they just don't touch or they make bad, like Sonic and Monkey Ball. And it's like, no, do things right. I want Platinum Games to make Billy Hatcher. Get on it, Sega. Platinum Games Billy
I
Hatcher.
forgot about Billy Hatcher. Oh,
It
man.
has so much potential. Platinum Games, please.
All right. So we're just going to name drop these games here because that's pretty much all that Nintendo did. First and foremost, we got Fuser, which is another rhythm-based game. This one looks very reminiscent of like Guitar Hero or Rock Band in my mind. We got the Trials of Mana 3D remake. I don't remember what they're specifically calling that. I recently just played that demo on the PS4. I'm actually not impressed with it. I prefer the 16-bit version of that game. I feel bad saying that.
I think I'm gonna have to agree with that. Like, if it wasn't Trials of Mana and they did a bit more with it in their own way, I think there's like going for it in the world specifically, but it's not what I'd want for Mana. So I have to agree with that.
Then they announced Elder Scrolls Blades would be dropping this spring. That's the mobile game from Bethesda. I'm surprised it took them this long to turn a mobile game into a Switch handheld.
Wasn't it revealed at E3 2 years ago too?
Yeah, it's been a while.
And they made a big deal about this game coming to Switch. And I'm like, ugh. All right, Bethesda.
Man, they like shadow dropped like that Fallout Shelter game the same day. Yeah, so I thought there would be a quicker transition between the mobile to there must have been like some kind of exclusivity deal with mobile devices. I don't know. Who cares? Like this game looks trash. Like I'm sorry to all the people who probably worked hard to develop it. Probably not that hard either though. This game looks trash. And I didn't download this on my phone. I won't be putting it on my Switch, and I'm pretty sure it's free on the Switch. It looks bad. I don't like Elder Scrolls games. We're also getting Warhammer 4000 Mechanis. That's a thing that's happening. We're getting Burnout Paradise remastered. I'm pretty sure that'll make a few people happy.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many games that they just put. Legend of Heroes: Trials of Cold Steel. It's like kind of reminds me of what's it called, a Red Steel like style game, but it looks like an RPG at the same time.
I know that series is like famous between its fans because it's, I think, got a very consistent world and is like a really good RPG from what I can tell.
We're also getting a Mr. Driller game. I believe this is a sequel, and I can't remember the name. I guess it was just called Mr. Driller, which kind of like a pseudo sequel to Dig Dug.
I got really confused when I saw this, and I thought we were getting Drill Dozer, and I was so excited. I'm like, wait, this isn't Drill Dozer. What the fuck, Game Freak? And I cried.
Yeah, weird one. I like the art style. It's kind of like this Powerpuff Girls like aesthetic to it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it look super cutesy. Don't necessarily hate it. What is it?
It looks fairly mobile gamey to me.
I can't remember what is the name of this game. See, like even the press release didn't drop all of these, like all the titles for these games. So I'm like going through the direct so that I make sure I name drop all these like silly little games that they kind of had to hide. Oh, Minecraft Dungeons, I guess.
Oh yeah.
We're getting another Xbox game on the Nintendo Switch. Just further, I mean, it's Minecraft, so it's not like big shit that they're dropping anything on the Switch, because that's definitely going to be a cross-platform title. The Minecraft
I think it's on PlayStation 2.
Yeah. This is not like your Cuphead level reveal.
No.
Not that I have anything against Minecraft, just not for me.
I mean, as a dungeon crawler Diablo style, I'm interested.
Speaking of dungeon crawlers, been playing a lot of Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
When's Etrian Odyssey? Atlas, get your shit on Etrian Odyssey, please. I need Etrian Odyssey music in Smash. Please. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, I had to look this up. Mr. Driller is technically a sequel to Dig Dug. It was intended to be a sequel to Dig Dug, and I think they had to change the name for some specific reason. It was bothering me. But yeah, my girl loves Dig Dug. That's why that kind of sticks to me so much. All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode with the way they wrapped up the Direct. We got some information on the Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion pass. And I don't know if I'm excited about this or not. I mean, they didn't show...
It was just...
they kind of like... they reiterated stuff we already knew, so you get Cubfu, but now we know how we evolve Urshifu into Cubfu.
Yeah. We also know more about those towers that we saw in screenshots.
Am I the only one that's bummed that you can only enter one tower?
Yeah, no, I'm hella bummed.
Like you
only get one Cubfu, so I understand that. But that also implies if I trade a friend for another, I can't get the other one then.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Because, like,
all right, so
I'm planning to trade my Cubfu with someone, you know, because I know there are people who are going to have multiple Cubfus and will be willing to trade them.
All right, so I want to just go ahead and read what they said in the official press release. With the new Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion pass and Pokemon at the sprawling island in the sprawling island in the sea, the Isle of Armor, and the frozen snowscape known as the Crown Tundra will be available in the Galar region. On the Isle of Armor, trainers can gather at a new dojo for Pokemon battles to master their skills. By training at this dojo, players will receive the legendary Pokemon Cubfu from Master Mustard. I love that name. Through training with Cubfu, trainers will receive permission to challenge the Towers of Two Fists on the Isle of Armor. Once one of the two towers has been conquered, Cubfu will evolve into Urshifu. In addition, new outfits and hairstyles will be added through the expansion pass. We'll also get new league card backgrounds, effects, and frames. The Pokemon Sword expansion pass and the Pokemon Shield expansion pass part 1, the Isle of Armor, launches by the end of June. Additional information about the Sword and Shield expansion pass part 2, Crown Tundra, will be revealed in the future. Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion pass, which will include the Isle of Armor Crown Tundra, will be released for a suggested retail price of $29.99 each. It says each, but I believe it's just $29.99 total, isn't it?
So I guess it's both part 1 and part 2 for $30, and then if you have both copies of the game, it's each.
Yeah, very Very terrible wording.
Yeah, I mean, when they're dealing with two copies of the same game, it always is.
We also got some information about some new. We got some Gigantamax information through training. Yeah, through training in the in one of the two towers, you'll be able to unlock Gigantamax forms for your starter Pokemon. So you can get the Gigantamax Rillaboom, Cinderace, or Inteleon. Inteleon all the way because he's a freaking sniper, baby. And yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed about this so far. So the big thing that I was really looking forward to was being able to get a hidden ability, Gigantamax, because I need that Grassy Surge.
Yeah,
but this
the one that
implies the thing I feared. Sorry, what? What?
Yeah, it basically they're just saying, the one you start with is the only one that's going to get this ability to Gigantamax.
That's what it implies to me, and I hope that's not the case, because, like, you can find Gigantamax Charizards in dens, so I'm hoping that we do have an option similar to that. It's not looking good for me, and I'm kind of pissed. Hopefully it is the way I hope it is, which is I can catch more. Ideally, I catch a shiny with hidden ability. That would be awesome. But then they kind of like...
I'm a little bummed out because I went through all the trouble of getting the other starters so that I could prepare myself for Gigantamaxing these Pokemon.
Yeah.
But yeah, depending on which tower you go to, it'll unlock the Single Strike or the Rapid Strike. I believe if you go into the Dark Tower, you will unlock the Single Strike Urshifu, and if you go into the Water Tower, you get the Rapid Strike Urshifu. Which implies which one is... I guess that kind of tells you which color is which. The dark one is the red one, and the blue one is the water one, obviously.
Yeah,
that's what it says here on the website. Yep, I was right.
I think they dropped the ball in the max moves. I love Drum Solo's animation and stuff in the name. It's great. I love all of them, honestly. But
I don't know, man. He climbs that tower. So
visually, they're all great. Yeah.
Visually, Inteleon's looks the best just because he's American Sniper over there.
Okay.
Just sniping people from the top of his tail tower. I love that.
I feel like they could have done more with the effect of it, because the G-Max moves all had this great effect of, doing something different. Like G-Max Snooze is fucking busted.
The wild G-Max that Charizard has, the wild flame.
Wildfire. Yeah.
Burn for like 3 turns and technically take out your enemy in that time.
Mm-hmm. It's wild. This one, the G-Max moves they have, and then they just drop the ball with the effect on this one, and I'm kind of upset.
All they do is negate the effects of the enemy Pokemon.
The abilities, yeah. So, like, if you were to Earthquake or Rotom, you could do that. Or if you were to use your move on a character who... It's Mold Breaker, so you can use it on a Sap Sipper if you're Rillaboom. You can use it on Water Absorb if you're Inteleon. You can use it on Flash Fire if you're Cinderace. Which is cool, I guess, but there's not very effective moves in that situation anyways, so why would you? I mean, most of the time, I'd imagine. I don't know. I'm kind of upset about that. We do also see a bit of the map, and specifically how you fly to the Isle of Armor. It's like the very first thing in the video. So I liked seeing that for like the 2 seconds they showed it, as well as I'm upset that they didn't show any of the returning Pokemon. Like, they didn't show any of the returning Pokemon or anything new. Like, in terms of, because that's one of the big things I'm looking forward to, is making my list of who's coming back and who's not. And we've seen Talonflame's coming back. Slowpoke is not only coming back; he has a new form, which we didn't see the Slowbro. So what the fuck?
Oh, there's the other one, the Slow King form. All right, yeah. One more thing that I want to make note of is they did do a new wild area update. You will be able to catch Gigantamax, Duraludon, why can't I remember that? Garbodor and the mammoth thing. I can't remember.
Copperajah and Charizard.
Yes. Well, Charizard,
Garbodor, and Shield. And then Copperajah and Duraludon are in Sword.
Sword. It's weird that Charizard is going to be here because they kind of give you one. It's kind of perfect.
but you can have more. More Charizards is always better. Look
Maybe
at
if
what
I guess if
Charizard.
you can't catch shinies in the damn water like that, though. Can you? I
Yeah,
haven't caught anything shiny through
I
Gmax
caught a
Raid.
shiny Gmax Charizard.
I do. Damn, I've never caught a shiny. I've done a fuck ton of raids, especially when they were doing the Lapras ones. Man, I was all up on those. I was
I
like,
need a shiny Gmax Lapras still. I'm pissed.
I guess it's nice because I've kind of wanted a Gigantamax Carparaja for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, at least you know if you get a 5-star raid of it, 5 perfect IVs.
Yeah, that's always been nice.
It's the only thing that's enjoyable about the Gmax raids is having some like pretty close to OP like Pokemon. Then you can just hyper train the
Mewtwo raid. Ooh, I need more of that in my life.
Yeah, I only did like one of those, and the fact that you couldn't catch it was like, no, don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. I did not appreciate that.
But it was good for grinding candies.
Yes, that's true. But I also use the Pokeball Plus, and you get a lot of rare candies.
True.
When you do that, so it's like, I don't need all this extra.
No.
I mean, look, we all know that the second expansion is where like all the really good shit is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like where you can do the legendary raids. Those are what I'm really looking forward to. I'm gonna get the expansion pass based on that, the second expansion alone. That first one, I don't hate it. It's nice that we're getting some legendary, but it's really about that second one. That kind of raids have been my favorite aspect of Pokemon Sword and Shield. They truly have.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to raiding with my friends, doing some legendary raids, just because they seem, from what they describe those to be, they seem like they're going to be the better and harder raids to complete. So
for sure,
that's what I'm really interested in.
Yeah. Well, and then they also showed the Leon cosplay if you download or pre-purchase or whatever.
Oh yeah, they did show that. Not interested. I like Leon.
Why would I want to dress as Leon? Who thought that was acceptable?
But yeah, I mean that's kind of it for the Nintendo Direct. Like, when I watched the Direct initially, I didn't feel that impressed by it. I thought it was like, I was like, wow, there's like no major tentpole games here. Like there's a lot of the things that I'm excited about are things that I've known about. Like we knew about the Fighter Pass 2, we knew about Bravely Default 2, we knew about Xenoblade.
Yeah,
but like
I
guess talking about it made me like realize that I'm actually a little bit more hyped for the things that they did show. It's just there's nothing necessarily new here at the same time, and I understand why Nintendo delayed having a Direct for so long, because there's no major tentpole release. I think we're gonna have to wait for whatever the E3 time frame rolls around to see if they actually have something big for the second half of the year.
Arms too.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe an update on Breath of the Wild 2. Maybe a Super Mario Odyssey.
I'm actually surprised with missing. We still know nothing about this in next 3D Mario. I'm like, where are these? I it's like at least more. I know that no news is good news, but it always feels like no news is bad news in these situations. I don't know.
Well, like especially since they made us wait till like March to get any kind of like news. Like we're almost done with March, and we're going through this global pandemic that has really shifted the way that we function as a culture. Like social distancing, which I hate that term, by the way. Just I don't want to be around people. Just say that.
It's a term.
It's such a SJW term. I'm gonna offend so many people with that. No, I don't like that term, but yeah, it's stupid. But yeah, like we're going through something right now, and it just feels like if you're not an Animal Crossing fan, this has been a rough one for you.
Get fucked, nice one.
I'm just not a fan of Animal Crossing. I would rather fall asleep in a public toilet than play 1 minute of Animal Crossing.
Ooh, that's bold. Okay. Wow.
Like, I don't care what the people in the other stalls are doing next to me. I would rather fall asleep on a public toilet than play 1 single minute of Animal Crossing. They are boring games.
60 seconds. Like if you said like an hour, understandable, but a single minute, that's like the first dialogue box because
That's like a step.
dialogue.
That's like a step in the game.
But yeah, I think the biggest hype moment for me was right at the beginning with Xenoblade, and then everything was sort of downhill. Like, oh, ARMS, Bravely Default, cool stuff, I guess. Isle of Armor, nothing new though. So it was definitely more of a letdown, but I'm also thoroughly impressed with what was shown. I definitely will enjoy all of it. I love seeing an actual release date for Xenoblade, which also they did show at the beginning. Release dates in all of these are subject to change, so they might change. But we do have the release date nonetheless, which is always a good sign. Seeing more about Bravely Default was great. ARMS is just hype. ARMS needs love.
For me, the hype moment was Bravely Default 2 because from the moment they announced that game, I was anticipating it, and then it just felt like I forgot about it for a little bit. So when they highlighted it very well, and we got a good look at the visuals, and I was like, I was all back on board for that game just because it's like, okay, it's the gameplay that I love from the first two games, but it's visually much more impressive than they ever could have accomplished on the 3DS. And they've learned a lot of lessons from Octopath Traveler. So it's like, oh man, this looks great. I'm gonna try to live stream the demo sometime this week. If not today, definitely tomorrow. Because I'm excited about that game. And again, if play the game, guys, play the demo, do the survey, make your voices heard because they're actually giving you that option. But I don't think I have anything left to say about the Nintendo Direct. I thought it was a little lackluster in the beginning, but then it kind of pulled itself together for me. So let's go ahead and wrap this show up. You can hit me up on Twitter at nice1983, and you can email me at nice1983@gmail.com. You can hit me up on Facebook, facebook.com/Nintendo Power Zone. If you're a fan of the Nintendo Power Zone podcast, you can always download new episodes on iTunes, Google Play Music, stream episodes on Spotify and Stitcher Radio. But if you want to watch the video version of the podcast like you're doing right now, you got to check us out right here on YouTube, youtube.com/Nintendo Power Zone. Go ahead and hit them up, Blues.
All right, as always, follow me on Twitter at VKingBlues, as well as same for YouTube and Twitch. Right now, we are streaming a lot of Animal Crossing content over on Twitch, and I'm going to be streaming more Pokemon and Mario Kart, maybe even some ARMS a little bit later too. So definitely stop by. In terms of Animal Crossing, we've had a lot of people from the chat drop their dodo codes and we're visiting islands, and they're coming to my island. And it's great fun just to hang out with. It's a lot of fun. Great people. They all share items and fruits, and it's great. So if you're a fan of Animal Crossing, you're playing it, stop by. You'll see something you like. I can guarantee it.
All right. Well, guys, that's going to be it from us. This episode ran a little bit longer than I thought it would, but it's a direct discussion. I knew it was going to get long. So I prepared for it mentally. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to stay fresh. Deuces.